the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation following. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, please bless our elected officials. Grant them the wisdom to know and the courage to do what is right for all citizens. Amen.
Amen. Roll call, please.
Goodar.
Here.
Green.
Here.
Lafleur.
Here.
Nastravich.
Here.
Ricks.
Here.
Schultz.
Here.
Yar.
Here. Good to see everybody here tonight. Approval of minutes for the regular meeting of October 7th would be in order.
So moved. Support.
What's been made and supported? Is there any discussion on the minutes?
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Just on page 406, item 4, regarding the stormwater engineering on Pound, I would just like it noted that I raised the point of being excused because I'm a Pound resident and the council didn't feel it necessary to be excused.
Okay. Any concern with that, Mike?
No.
Okay. Anything else? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion passes. Audience comments on any non-agenda items? If anybody would like to question the council or have a comment, we'd ask you to simply come to the podium, state your name and address to the clerk for the record. Being not, we'll move on. Adoption of agenda. Mr. City Manager, any changes?
No changes.
City Council, any changes? Being not, a motion to accept the agenda as presented would be in order.
So moved.
Support.
What's been made and supported? Is there any discussion? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Against? Motion does pass. Is there a motion for the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
It's been made and supported. There's no discussion on the motion. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Against? Motion does pass. We have two items for consideration this evening. The first one being consideration of response to landfill proposal. Mr. City Manager?
City Council is scheduled to consider a request from the Macomb County Executive for the city's response to the proposed landfill in Lenox Township. As previously discussed, Lenox Development LLC has requested that Macomb County amend the Macomb County Solid Waste Management Plan in order to develop a new sanitary landfill facility and future processing plant transfer facility in the county. The city received a letter from Macomb County Executive Mark Hackle requesting all communities in Macomb to respond to the issue by October 31st, specifically to two questions, and administration has prepared a response based on input from the quarterly roundtable meeting last week.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion before discussion?
I move to approve the letter informing the Macomb County Executive of the City of Richmond's opposition to a new landfill being sited in Macomb County.
Support.
What's been made and supported? Discussion? I believe the motion is definitely correct, but it also goes beyond that. It also, the city of Richmond is not interested in being a host community for a landfill or in expanding an existing landfill. So we had two questions presented to the city council and by Executive Hackle. Those were, is your community supportive of a new landfill being sited in Macomb County? And number two, does your community have an interest in being a host community for a new landfill or expanding an existing landfill? The city council, through its motion this evening, is saying no to both those questions. So it's very, very clear to everybody. Any other discussion? Any audience participation on this item? Back to the table? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Against? Motion does pass. Item number 2 is consideration of the introduction and first reading of ordinance number 159-1, revisions to pawn shop ordinance. Mr. City Manager.
Council is scheduled to consider introducing and giving first reading to ordinance 159-1, which amends Chapter 66, Secondhand Goods of the City of Richmond Code of Ordinances. As discussed at the council's July quarterly roundtable meeting, the chief of police would like the council to amend the pawnbrokers ordinance to require pawnbrokers and secondhand good dealers to report transactions electronically through software. Currently, the software that we're using is Leads Online, and this is a nationwide system that allows police departments to better track these transactions. Also, the police department has purchased this software, so there'd be no software cost to the individual businesses. There may be some minor hardware costs, and our police department would help those businesses in Richmond at least navigate getting set up on this system. If council introduces and gives first reading according to the motion here, it'd come back for second reading and adoption at your November 4th council meeting. And Chief of Police Teskey is here if you have any questions.
Chief, would you like to expound on that a little bit for us before we make a motion?
Basically, what this does is just mirror language that's already in place, state language, and it kind of, we passed the original ordinance more recently, within the last year, but this is amending the electronic portion of that, which is the new way of doing things with this Leads Online system that we have. It helps us better track incidents. Say, for example, larceny's committed in a township, and they go to another city to sell the item, and the person lives in, say, Richmond or vice versa, or any one of those three scenarios. This software and this program allows us to track all three of those transactions. So we get notification that they're living in the city and selling items, or they're coming in the city and selling items, those kind of things. So it helps us kind of get a handle on it. We've been demoing the software, and our detective unit can't say enough about how well this program's worked out and given us a lot of investigative leads.
Very good. Anybody have any questions at this time?
Yeah, I do.
Go right ahead.
Just, since now we're going to require that these pawnbrokers have this software,
Yes.
is there like a time frame for when they would actually have to do it?
I think we put in the ordinance by the end of the year, so it
End of
gives
the
them
year,
plenty
okay.
of time yep, to.
And I know if it's not in the ordinance, I know we had talked about that at like kind of the quarterly, giving them a certain amount of time, more than likely to the end of the year, to get set up.
Anything else? Okay, a motion would be in order.
I'll make a motion to introduce and giving first readings to ordinance number 159-1, which amends the City of Richmond's Code of Ordinance, Chapter 66, Secondhand Goods, Section 66-35, 66-43, and 66-63, to require the use of the Richmond Police Department computerized system and scheduling the same for the second reading and adoption at the City Council meeting in November 4th, 2013, at the regular meeting.
Support.
What's been made and supported? Is there any discussion on this? You said it sounds like a great tool. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And now we have at least one pawn shop, and we have,
So actually, we have three now. It's there. We have.
oh,
we have-
well, yes, this would, the ordinance would cover the
Oh,
other
yeah.
two.
Yeah, actually, I have four technically. All.
Four.
Yeah. So I mean, that's why this is important, because they seem to be, growing.
Yeah.
Although they're not by definition a pawn shop, they are a
Right. We have
secondhand.
one pawn shop, but we
Right.
do, the ordinance is going to cover the other
Correct. Yes.
three.
Yep. Precious
Correct.
metals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Precious metals and gems, and then secondhand.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah, right.
And I have a question then.
Yep.
What's been the reception of those businesses? Are they in
Um,
favor of it, or
Yeah,
do we have some that we might need to give more time?
I don't know about the more time. I know I've talked to Leads Online, and there's a lot of different options for those that are maybe a little slow on the technology uptake of that, where we can enter the pawn slips for them, or they have software or IT people that'll walk them right through it. And it's a real easy, useful, or user-friendly organization to work with, so.
Okay, anything else?
There's also a program that's part of this that I'll be mentioning to the city council, as well as the citizens, that they themselves can log on their own equipment, their own serial numbers, their own property. All that stuff is free because we have this Leads Online program. You can get your own password their own, and we won't see it, nobody else will see it other than yourself, and then if something were to happen, you can just download quickly a sheet with all your valuables printed out on it, and every city resident is eligible to participate in that program free.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Very good. Okay. This being first reading, is there any audience comments on the issue? Back to the table?
Just want to say, thank you, Chief, for bringing this to us. Obviously, this is a concern with the number of secondhand shops we have. It seems the system both helps protect the customer and the pawn shop regarding some of these transactions that are, when it relates to illegal activities that may happen. Hopefully, that'll discourage it in the future. So thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Anything else? Being not, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Against? Motion passes. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
We move on to city manager's comments, sir.
Just one other thing that came out of that July quarterly meeting was our desire to kind of update our fireworks ordinance as well. We're currently working on making the changes to that, getting them to Mark Clark for his review, and that should be coming back for your consideration shortly. And we did a lot of training last week on the city website, and part of that training is kind of going back into the new version that's not public yet and changing things. As you can imagine, when they sucked in our old website and transferred it into the new, some things don't transfer over well. So part of our training is actually to go in and make those changes. It helps reinforce the learning of how to update the website. So that's what we're doing this week, and we hope to get that out to staff and council for to have you look it over this week.
Very good. Thank you. Moving on, council comments. Michael?
No, just looking forward to the new website. I think it's going to be a great addition to getting information out and having a way for people to look at what's going on in the city. Also, really enjoyed the quarterly workshop that we had with, part of it was including the school board to have discussions on collaboration that we've had in the past, and it's good to keep that window open. Thank you.
Very good. Jeffrey?
Nothing in it, sir.
I agree with Mike on everything, but just wanted to congratulate the football team for becoming the BWAC champs. First time since 2008 and first time since 2003 being the sole BWAC champs. So they're
Very good.
on top by themselves. So
There's one more regular game?
regular game this Friday at Lutheran North,
At Lutheran.
and then the first playoff game hopefully will be at home
It could be at home depending
on this Friday's game.
on, okay.
If they win, then it depends on where everything shakes out with the scores with the teams around the state.
Good.
So they have a good chance of having the first home game. So.
Yeah, we wish for the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jeff?
Just a few quick things. When I attended the fire department open house, I see that it was well attended, and that hearing from the firefighters that the donations for firefighter Shadi who's ill, that was very high. It was great to see that community support for one of our firefighters. Also, I concur with Mike regarding the school board. It was nice to see them come out and keep that dialogue. Nice to send back 2 more items for consideration for shared cooperation, so I hope we can move on that this year. While I'm out talking to residents, I got as hydrant flushing is coming. It was nice to hear one of the residents say that during the year, at some point, they had a bad water issue, and they had stopped in, and they were impressed how quickly Public Works went out there and took care of it. So kudos to public service. Whenever I get a compliment, I want to pass on to that department. Thank you, Paul, and your team. I also want to publicly thank Representative Goinke, who helped set together a meeting with Representative LaFontaine himself, Representative Shore, and the Director of Consumer Codes to discuss manufactured housing and local government's role in ensuring that we are able to take care of our residents. So that was definitely appreciated. I also sent the thank yous again for those 2 representatives helping to ensure the municipal credits stay in Richmond.
I concur with them all.
Very good. Thank you, Jamie. Jimmy?
Guess what? It's getting that time again.
Yes, it is.
Yep, Friday, December 6th, the tree lighting and Christmas parade is coming up. We will be getting the paperwork together on that hopefully this week and get it mailed out and So we can get that. It's not that far away already,
It's not.
unfortunately.
About 5 weeks?
Better be more than 5
Yeah.
weeks. Give me 6. Can I have 6 weeks?
5.5?
Okay.
Very good. Yeah, I concur with everybody else also. We also, there was a group that got together, including John and Troy from the city, a collaboration of different groups for the Ice Fest, Winter and Ice Fest. It may be renamed, it's hard to say, but at least we all got together and discussed how to make it better and probably make it much more offerings during the Ice Fest and the Winter Fest. So it was a good meeting by all, headed by the Chamber of Commerce, and I think we're all going to work together to make things much more fun and something for everybody in the future. So let's go to the calendar, today being the 21st of October. The TIFA meeting on the 23rd has been canceled. There is a BZA meeting on the 24th at 7 o'clock right here at City Hall. Halloween will be celebrated, of course, on the 31st. The Chamber of Commerce and various businesses in the community will be hosting the Treats in the Street at the municipal parking lot on the north end of town. Did they say it was the 8th annual?
It's getting close.
It's been a while.
Yes.
It's gotten very, very big and successful. That will be happening from 5 to 7, and then trick or treating in the city of Richmond will be from 6 to 8 p.m. Will the sirens be sounding still? Sirens will be sounding at 6 for the start, and it will again blow at 8 for the end of trick or treating in the city of Richmond. The senior social, we understand, is still open. Tickets are still for sale at the community center. That will be held on November 3rd at 2 o'clock at Menace's Banquet Hall. And it's 2 weeks from tonight. We will have the city council meeting right here at City Hall at 7 o'clock. Of course, we have elections for city council members on the 5th. The council election will be held at the community center from 7 a.m. till 8 p.m. And that same evening, we are having a rec board, or did that get moved?
We haven't discussed that yet.
Okay, more than likely it could get moved.
Yeah, or there could be a few people missing if not, because it normally meets here.
Yes.
It just depends on,
Yeah.
if they want to have their meeting without certain people there.
Right, right. So that takes us into November. And that's it for the calendar. Is there any other things going on that we need to bring up on the calendar?
Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to expand that city council elections also has the school bond
Yes.
proposal
Yep.
election too.
Yep, one proposal for the millage for various things to enhance the Richmond Community Schools. That'll also be held at the same time in the city as well as in the townships. Good to bring that up, Mike. Okay. Is there any other business of the city council this evening? Being none, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Support.
Motion been made and supported. There's no discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Against? Motion passes. Thanks for being with us.